Hello YouTube, it's me again, and for a while now I've been playing a little game called Hollow Knight. And in that game you fight many bosses, you go on many adventures, and it's genuinely a fun game. And as a player who has beat the game 3 times over, one of the saves being where you can't even die, or it deletes the save, and has put multiple hours into this game and beat almost every boss except for Absolute Radiance, but working on that. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Point is, I know a thing or two about this game, and I feel like I got to a point where I can now speak my opinion as someone who's seen almost everything this game has to offer. So today, I'm going to be ranking the bosses of this game by difficulty, all of them in a row right now, and it's my opinion, so don't get mad in the comments. And speaking of, if you like the video, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. So we're gonna get on with the list, so let's go. At the bottom of the list, we have Massive Moss Charger, or as I like to call him, Mossy. Mossy has 2 attacks, only 2, jump and charge. And if you give yourself Long Nail or Mark of Pride, any nail lengthening charm, and just stand during his charge, you just keep pushing him back and wail down his health, and then Mossy will be dead. I'm not very good at it, but it doesn't matter. Mossy's easy boss anyway. At number 45, we have the mother of the game, and she's also one that has 2 attacks. Her primary attack being where she just jumps back and forth from the roof to the floor. But just hit her on the way down and kill that mother. Yeah. At number 44, we have False Knight, probably the first boss in the game you will actually fight. And the only thing that makes this guy difficult is the fact that you don't get soul from naturally hitting him. You have to open his mask first for that. But that doesn't matter because the only thing you could do at this point is heal. So just keep dodging his attacks, don't run into his body like I do, and you'll be fine for False Knight. At number 43, Vengefly King. And the only thing that makes this guy difficult is the fact that he likes to hide so much. So just hit him on the way down, and you'll be fine. And resist the urge to go up there and hit him while he's hiding, because he'll just keep backing up, and you'll probably fall, and you'll just be in a mess. And deal with his enemies, and you'll be fine. Number 42, the only boss in the game that can't move. And the only thing it uses to attack you is this little minions, this heat-seeking missiles. Yeah, they're one hit for me, but if they're not one hit for you, it'll be a bit of a challenge, but this is the only thing that makes it difficult. Number 41. Oh god, I hate this boss. Umu. So, I have to go on a little rant about this boss. In the primary story, you can't hit Umu naturally. You have to get your little friend Quarrel here to help you get Umu vulnerable so you can actually attack Umu. And then, once Umu's vulnerable, you can actually attack it and all that. But in Godhome, you have to use the little jellyfish to actually aim it at Umu and to get it vulnerable so you can actually hit Umu. So, if it didn't have that in Godhome, Umu probably wouldn't be that high because, let's be honest, Umu is really not that difficult of a boss. But the fact that you have to aim the jellyfish and they have a chance of coming back at you, that's the only thing that makes it difficult. So, Umu. At number 40, we have Marmu, and just like I said about Mossy, just get yourself Mark of Pride or something and just keep hitting them back, and Marmu's dead. Number 39, we have Elder Hu, another one of the Dream Warrior bosses, and let's be honest here, if you have Shade Cloak, this is probably the easiest fight in your life. Just the only thing that makes it difficult is how often he flies around the arena, and just keep dashing through his attacks, keep hitting him with those up spells, and Elder Hu's going on early retirement. Number 38, we have Gorb, the intelligent being. Now, Gorb's not very difficult. He has only 3 phases. His first phase, he sends 1 set of spikes. His second phase, he sends 2 sets of spikes, and his third phase, he sets 3 sets of spikes. So, like, he's not really difficult as most dream bosses are, so gorb. At number 37, we have Zero, another one of those Dream Warrior bosses who will float around and throw 1 attack at you. This time, said attack will come at you, and you have to dodge it upon recall. But that's really about it, and he has 2 sets of spikes, and personally, he's really kind of easy. At number 36, we have Crystal Guardian, a boss that has the potential to be one of the easiest in the game. The only thing that makes this guy hard is if you don't have double jump. And even then, his attacks are still easy to dodge considering he only has 2 of them. So, yeah. Number 35, we have Soul Warrior. And to be honest, this guy's not really much of a boss. He's fairly easy. His moves are predictable and easy to dodge, and it's just Soul Warrior, man. He's really not that hard. He doesn't have much health, so you'll be fine. Number 34, we have Hornet. Pretty fun boss fight, in my opinion. This one's not that bad because it's fairly slow and kind of easy, and her moves for this one are fairly predictable. Except she only has 2 annoying moves whenever she throws her needle and recalls it, and how high she can jump for some reason. But besides that, Hornet's pretty easy, and I kind of like this fight. I like Hornet. Next up, oh god, we have Winged Nosk. Oh god. Winged Nosk is, I will say it as many times as I can say it, clear and cut over rip-off of Vengefly King with a few extra steps. You just wait for him to come down, hit him as he swoops down to attack you, and he only has a few extra attacks, and really he's just a cop over Vengefly King. The only reason he's this high is because of those few extra attacks, and you don't really get too many chances to heal. So yeah. Next up, Traitor Lord. Now, to be honest with you, the only thing that makes this guy scary is that he does double damage. That's it. He has 3 moves. A little dash, a little up dash thing, like upwards and then downwards, and then he has his little shockwave, and sometimes he'll send out his little rings. You have to dash through this shockwave, but, you know, he's really not that hard. Just keep pogoing on him, and if he does the dash thing, just dash backwards and just keep hammering away at this dude, and you can get him done. So, Traitor Lord's really not that hard. Mantis Lords are better, that's all I'm saying. Next up, at number 31, we have Brooding Moloch. And the only reason this one is so high up is because if you don't have Shade Cloak, that little burst of ooze infection thing is kind of hard to dodge. And it gets kind of annoying with his little claws things protecting him, and how he can leap and stuff, and yeah, that's Moloch. But yeah, honestly, not that hard of a boss, just kind of middle ground. Next up, the Collector. And same thing I said about False Knight. The only thing that makes this guy hard is that you don't get soul from him. Except this time you have to deal with his little annoying pest enemies. And if you don't deal with him straight away, you might get overwhelmed. And if you don't have soul, it just gets kind of annoying. And sometimes his little jumps and rapid movements can get kind of annoying to deal with, even though they are very predictable. It's just kind of rapid, and it's just kind of difficult to hit this sometimes. But Collector, although just not really that difficult of a boss, you can handle him. Just get those grubbies back for me. At number 29, a very strange boss fight, we have the Obble Wobbles, or Bubble Guys. It's one of those bosses where the only thing that makes these guys difficult is that there are 2 of them. And phase 2 is they go crazy and become complete crackheads because you killed their brother. And it gets, you know, since it's fast, it's hard to dodge. That's about it, really. Just see where the bullets are incoming and just keep on dodging, and you'll be fine for Bubble Guys. Oh my god, I cannot tell you how much I love this fight. Dung Defender. Probably one of my favorite fights in the entire game. A perfect balance of just not that hard difficulty and pure fun in a boss fight. Dung Defender really doesn't do that much in his fight, and it doesn't really seem like he's trying to fight you at all. But the fact that he is, yeah. But anyway, there's a few secrets to this boss fight. Number one, whenever he's underground, you can do your little shockwave and get him out. You can juggle him while he's in the air, and just keep on hitting Dung Defender, and yeah, he'll go down. But I really do love Dung Defender, and this fight does have a special place in my heart. And yeah, Dung Defender's awesome. At number 27, we have the definition of an annoying boss fight. Almost all of the Hive Knight's moves are annoying, from him squirting out bees out of his mouth, from his spikes, things, from his dash attack. But once you learn and understand his moves, this guy ain't really that hard anymore. This is the definition of a perfect boss fight, or near perfect. It's not really too difficult, but a little bit challenging, especially the first time you fight it. And it's just the definition of a fun boss fight. Like, this is like, we're getting into the more challenging territory. But this right here, this has the potential to be one of the funnest boss fights in this game. I have so much fun every time I have to go against these little mantises. So, good job, mantises, and keep on praying. I love you guys. Number 25, bit of a controversial choice, but me and this guy, we have some history. This guy was like the hardest boss whenever I first fight him. Now, I realize he's kind of easy, but I still have to keep him up there because I realize how hard this boss fight has the potential to be. He's just, now that I look at it, now he's not really that hard, but it doesn't really give you too many chances to heal because of the ghost, and he just has a lot of rapid and unsure movements that you may not know. At number 24, we have Soul Master, and this is a pretty fun boss fight. But he's one of those bosses that constantly teleports, and especially for new players, this guy's going to be pretty hard to hit and understand his moves, and the fact that his final phase just becomes him just constantly smacking into the ground, and if it's your first playthrough and you're not ready for it, like, and you're not going to know what to do against this guy can be kind of challenging. So just, yeah, Soul Master, Master of Souls. At number 23, we have Galien. And I know what you're thinking, he's just a Dream Warrior boss. But this is the definition of just too much to handle. From all the freaking, his main sickle to just like the little shining things and his body, this is too much to handle. Oh god. Arachnophobia, just spiders. Definition of deepness. Definition of horror and scary. Nosk. This guy just rapid movements. Like I said, this guy takes a lot to get used to, and his rapid movements is the only thing that makes him difficult. And climbing on the ceiling. Number 21, we have Miss No Eyes, and there's a reason why she's this high. It's because you have to constantly maneuver your way through platforms while also avoiding her body, which I tend to do for most bosses, so it makes it hard. And you gotta get past her little ghost spiritual thingamajiggas and just constantly get past them, and this boss fight is really annoying. And yeah, I just have a personal vendetta against No Eyes. I just really don't like this fight because of the platforming you have to do. Screw No Eyes and screw her children. Number 28, we have Watcher Knights, and it's another one of those boss fights where it's the only thing that makes them difficult is that there's two of them, and that their movements can get kind of complicated. They do have a couple of attacks you have to learn and maneuver, but once you get used to them, you can handle the Watcher Knights. Yeah. At number 19, we have Enraged Guardian, and the only reason he's really this high up is because he does double damage and because he moves really fast like a cracked addict. That's about it. Number 18, we have a mediocre boss fight that I almost forgot about, God Tamer. And with God Tamer, you mainly want to aim for the beast, because if you kill the beast, then the little shorty will stop attacking you. And the only thing that makes this difficult is the movement of the beast and how it bounces off the walls. Yep. Oh my god, I cannot tell you how much I hate this guy. Markoth. Hell on earth. It's another one of those boss fights where there's just too much to handle. These dream boss fights really do have a lot of that in common. But Markoth, oh my god, you have to try and hit him through both of his shields in his final phase. You have spears coming in you from every direction imaginable, trying to be shoved up your nasal cavities. And then he has the audacity to just sling his shield all around the arena and just float around like he owns the place. I cannot tell you how many times I've died to this guy trying to practice him for Pantheon of Hollow Knights. Hell on earth. I hate Markoth. Number 16, we have the brothers, Oro and Mato, I think that's how you pronounce it. But point is, these guys are just Watcher Knights with a few extra steps. And honestly, they're really not that difficult. They're kind of a fun fight, I can't lie to you. And kind of like the lore behind these two. But they're a really fun fight, just Watcher Knights 2.0 with an extra steps. Number 15, we have another one of the brothers, Paintmaster Sheo. And the only thing that makes this boss really difficult, especially for me, is you got to find out which attack he's doing based on the paint on his paintbrush as he's attacking. So, it's pretty fun. I like Paintmaster Sheo. Number 14, my man, White Defender, the perfect upgrade to Dung Defender. You can't do the ground pound things anymore. You can't manipulate them, and he actually does a few more strong attacks now, and he's way faster. My boy Dung Defender got an upgrade, and may I say, it looks good, even in poop. Number 13, we have Hornet's second fight, Hornet Sentinel, and may I say, I hate and love this fight. I love it because it really is the perfect upgrade for Hornet and shows how much potential she really has. But I also hate it because of how annoying it can get, especially in the second phase where she starts throwing out those spike traps that go right up the booty hole. But we don't talk about that. Point is, Hornet is mommy. I love her. What did I say? I didn't say anything. But this boss fight is fairly challenging and took me hours to beat because of how fast she is and how much you have to keep up with. But I think it's just the perfect second fight for Hornet. And I like Hornet, mommy. 12, Grim. Ugh, I cannot tell you how much I love this fight. And just, it is really difficult. It really is. But it's just challenging enough to be really fun. I cannot tell you how many attempts it took me to beat this guy. But all of his attacks are so coordinated. And if you're getting like 1, maybe 2 attacks in per attack, that's all really you can do. Because just like Soul Master, he's got to be somewhere, and he's got to teleport every second of his life. But I love Grim. Grim is daddy. Number 11, Lost Kin. God, if Broken Vessel was already bad enough, and then they done gave him an upgrade. Like before, the ghosts are just as bad, except they have increased spawn rates, and Lost Kin is so much faster now. So yeah, Lost Kin, just really difficult because of how fast he is. Doesn't give you a chance to heal. You got to keep up. Getting into our top 10, we have the Hollow Knight. If you're playing the regular ending, this will be the final boss for you. But unfortunately, if you are going for true ending, this guy just acts as a gateway boss. And he's really not that hard in the second phase. He's mainly hard in the first phase, but once he starts the suicidal stuff, he's not really that hard. Number 9, we have Sly, and this is probably the most crackhead of crackhead addicts of all the bosses. His immense movements and how fast he moves, especially in the final phase where you just have to like predict where he's going and try your best not to get hit and just attempt to get your nail slashes in, especially in his first few phases where he starts using some of the great nail arts, and then you just have to predict which ones he's doing and find the best ways to get hits in. Sly even though he is a good shop owner, it's a pretty hard boss. Number 8, we have Soul Tyrant, and this guy is the full max version, almost max version of just teleporting nonsense. This is one of the bosses you have to keep up, and you're lucky to just get one attack, maybe even 2 attacks in per teleport whenever he switches his location. This boss fight is all about tempo. You just have to see where he teleports to, try your best to get over there, try to get a few licks in, and just try your best to keep up with this dude. That's all the whole teleporting nonsense is. So, Soul Tyrant, besides that, is pretty difficult. Ah, yes, the true final boss of this game, in all of her shining sunlight glory, the Radiance. Remember the first time I fought her? Dang, but the Radiance is a really good and challenging final boss, especially since she's 2-hit and all the blades and everything you have to keep up with. It's honestly a lot, and it's yeah, if you're going for true ending, you're gonna have a heck of a time fighting her. But honestly, she is kind of a fun boss fight, so yeah, Radiance. Number 6, Sisters of Battle. Speaking of fun boss fights, oh my god, this right here, just simply the idea of just throwing one more Mantis into the mix from the last fight gets boosted to one of the hardest, most difficult boss fights in the game. But it is really fun at the same time when you look past it being very challenging, because the tempo and the rhythm, and it's one of those boss fights where it's so fast you're lucky to get an attack in. I'm going to be saying that for these next few bosses, because pretty dang fast, and that's what makes a boss challenging. And these mantises right here, they're pretty fast. So, and they don't really give you much time to heal. None of these recent bosses do, but Sisters of Battle. Number 5, we have Grey Prince Zote. And, oh boy, is this an upgrade from his little whimsy self in the Colosseum. Grey Prince Zote in the normal store, you can fight him multiple times, I believe, and get him to the point where you can, he deals half of your health bar for one hit. Might be wrong, it's been a while, but in Godhome at least, he just does one of your health. But still, this guy alone still hits like a truck because of his rapid movements, and most of his attacks is just him falling on his butt. And this guy is like the definition of just, you don't know what I'm doing, so you don't either. You don't know what he's doing, and you just have to play off of him, and his movement is so random, you don't really know what to do. So, Grey Prince Zote, only thing about him is that his movement is so random and hard to keep up with. Number 4, Failed Champion. Gone from being one of the weakest boss fights in the game to being one of the strongest, landing in top 5. This guy, he's fast, he hits for 2, and you get no soul unless you open his helmet. Talk about a difficult boss fight, man. Even now, it took me a few tries just to beat Failed Champion, because I was rusty, but still, this guy right here, he's pretty challenging. I don't mess with Failed Champion, because his body just gets in the way, and just, Failed Champion, man, you gotta get to survive. Number 3, the Pure Vessel. The ultimate upgrade to the Hollow Knight. This is the Hollow Knight in its pure form, and is one heck of a difficult boss fight. His fast movement, his attacks that cover half the screen, his 2-hit attacks per attack. You just gotta keep up with him, and he's really just a fun and challenging boss fight. It makes for a good boss fight to warm up, at least for me, but don't try it. Number 2, Nightmare King Grim. When you think of fast boss fights, this is the guy that pops into your mind. Grim alone is already pretty tough, and then they gave him an upgrade, and oh god, talk about difficult of difficult. Just every single move you're lucky to even get an attack in, and he does 2-hit and has so much health and moves just Nightmare King Grim, man. Deal with it. And if you beat every single boss in this game, you're going to be up to the ringer with her. Absolute Radiance. The full, pure, upgraded version of the Radiance to a teak. Every single attack happens so fast. Everything is obviously 2-hit damage at this point. And if you lose and you're playing Pantheon of Holonest, you already know it's a lot on the line because you have to fight every single boss over again. Unless you're practicing like me in Godhold. But that's not the point. Point is, if you fight every single boss in the game and beat them, you're going to be going against her. And she sure as heck will send you right back down to the bottom and show your place. But if you manage to beat this boss, which I still haven't, that's legendary. Because in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree with this, Absolute Radiance has got to be the hardest boss in Hollow Knight. So if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment next what you want me to do a video about. I don't know at this point. But yeah, that has been every Hollow Knight boss ranked from least difficult to most difficult. Peace.